Comment for Dominic or Dustin, give us a call live on the air, 989-448-4714. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Family Christian Radio, 88.1 Gaylord. I'm Brother Dominic Rissi.
And this is Brother Dustin Dilworth here with you this wonderful morning.
And it is a fantastic day. You check out that snow. Hey, where's it been for the last 2 weeks?
Oh, I think it's been on vacation itself. But, yeah, about a half an inch of snow out there. Make sure that you are careful on the roads. We're expecting between 1 and 2 inches today.
Definitely. And there's that ice underneath that snow as well. So definitely take your time going to work or wherever else you got to go. Well, we do have a very special guest with us here on the Rise and Shine Time. He is the new mayor of Gaylord, the city of Gaylord here in Michigan, the fine city of fine state of Michigan, fine city called Gaylord. The new mayor, John Jenkins, not to be confused with Pastor John Jenkins. Thank you for joining us today, Mayor Jenkins.
Well, good morning, Dominic. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're honored that you're here today. You took some time out of your schedule. You just got back from Florida, and I am sure things have been pretty crazy around the office.
It's not bad. The people have a misconception about the mayor's office. A lot of people even believe that I have an office in City Hall.
Oh, no, huh?
but that's not the case.
Okay.
I go there to meet with the city staff, a city manager, any of the council people. We have conference rooms and things like that, and I think that's probably how the bulk of my work for the city would be done in that regard. The city staff all have offices, and they conduct all the day-to-day work. And so the mayor's never really had an office per se. And I think maybe when we grow into the metropolis 50 years from now that we have the potential for, then perhaps the mayor will have to have an office.
Yeah, sure. Now, before we go too much further, I need to tell you, forgive me if I have the inclination to call you my pastor.
If we say Pastor Jenkins, just say Mayor Jenkins, and we'll say sorry. But
and one other before we go on any further, also I wanted to get something clear with you since you have been living in Gaylord your whole entire life. Are we Gaylordites? Are we Gaylordians?
Gaylordians,
or are we?
Or what is the official term?
Well, you're just Gaylord citizens. It's like we've never had one. Of course, we could Alpinize you.
We could Alpinize. Yeah. Get Alpinized in Gaylord. There you go. Get Alpinized in Gaylord. Well, Mayor Jenkins, I know a lot of folks who actually voted for you during the elections. And would you mind sharing with us a little bit of your history here in northern Michigan and Gaylord?
Well, actually, I'm probably one of the locals that grew up here.
Okay.
I was born and raised here. My dad was born and raised here, and I have several of my grandparents were actually born in Otsego County, born in Gaylord and raised here. So our family goes back to the beginning of the history here in our city, and that's kind of hard to find anymore.
Sure.
But and I was lucky enough to grow up here, and I'm feel fortunate that I was one that was actually raised by the community. And in the old days, that's how it was.
Yeah.
And in saying that, it was like if I did something downtown or away from home that I shouldn't have been doing,
sure,
my dad knew about it before I got home.
Yeah. That's the way it used to be. That's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
And you probably got whooped too by the time you got home too.
No, I didn't. I never suffered through those consequences.
Wonderful.
And what made you want to run for mayor here in Gaylord?
Well, I was when I got out of high school, I was fortunate enough to have friends that were actually parents of my friends, one being in the state police. Actually, a couple of them were in the state police, and I had a great respect for that. And so when I got out of high school, I knew that was one of the things that I really would like to do for a profession, and that's the field I finally chose. So I got into the state police, and I was with them for 26 years.
Wow.
And I was lucky enough to be transferred back to Gaylord before I retired. And so in doing that, coming back and knowing that the city of Gaylord, the citizens, the community where I was raised was really good to me. So I decided that maybe it was time to give some of that back. So I actually ran for city council and was on the city council for a year. And during that period of time, the chief of police then ran for sheriff and won the election. And so they needed to have a new chief. And so the city manager and a couple from the council approached me and were interested in me becoming the chief. So long story short, that's what eventually happened. So I retired from the state, and I took the chief of police job, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that for 13 years.
Wow. Very
And
good.
so I became familiar with city government, and I really enjoyed working inside the community and doing things for the greater good of our community. And so I just thought I was retired 3 years ago, and I kind of missed being involved in the operation of city and knowing what was going on downtown. And so I was fortunate enough to have the support of a lot of people to kind of get back in business.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, while we're on the subject, are there maybe a couple of things you could suggest to our listeners who maybe they would like to get more involved with the city, ways that they can do that?
Well, there's several committees within the city structure and within the county structure. And I say county because the one way I really like, I know that we have a city of Gaylord and we have boundaries, and we have citizens that live in the city of Gaylord.
Right.
But many of us, if you take out your driver's license and look and see where you live, it says Gaylord.
It says Gaylord. Sure.
You might not live in the city limits, so there's a community of Gaylord too.
Absolutely.
And so there's always those things that you can volunteer with your city government and with your county government. And I know that we're always looking for good people to fill those important spots on committees. And I know the county has a lot of openings as well right now. And so I would encourage everyone to look at the gifts they have and the intelligence and the work ethic they have, and perhaps give some of that back to the community by becoming part of the operation of a city or a county government. Or even
Fantastic.
or township. I shouldn't leave the townships out either, because the township governments are very important to how we do our business.
I think a lot of people take for granted those offices, or I'm just too busy. But it's the same concept as people who find themselves too busy to get involved at church.
Sure.
And things like that.
Sure.
And the city needs you, the county needs you, and they need your help as well.
Yeah, I mean, you may be thinking that those offices are already filled, or maybe you don't have the confidence to do it. But Dominic and I, for example, Mayor Jenkins, we're kind of implants. I think you've been here for about 3 years. I've been here for about the same length of time. And I think that people who are newer here also can find their way to give back to the community as well.
I believe that. I believe that's a fantastic suggestion by Mayor John Jenkins here on the Rise and Shine Time. Now, we're going to get personal now. We're going to get very personal, very, very personal, Mayor Jenkins. What is your favorite feature of Gaylord, Michigan?
I think that probably the friendliness and the giving nature of the people that live in our community. You know, and again, I'm saying bigger than the city limits, but
Sure, absolutely.
The community of Gaylord, we're a very friendly lot. We're a very giving lot, and I say that with all sincerity, because if you just can imagine all the different things that we do here
Sure.
in this area, and it's all supported by you and I and all of our friends and the people that live next to us and the people that live across the street, and all these things get done, and sometimes there are important events and you need cash, you need money, and,
Absolutely.
and donations pour in for important things.
Wow.
So it's really, I think that probably it's the biggest and best feature that we have is the people that we have here that live in our community with us.
That's fantastic.